Hello YouTube. What we've got on the bench today is a recent purchase, one of two, meant to be new old stock, but this is the reality. Anyway, this radio turned up. It's a SBE SIDEBANDER 5 with digital scanning feature and display and logic system. The radio turned on. It did not RX, it did not TX. There was actually, I tell a fib. On my receive radio and system, I could just hear through the radio. There was quite a bit of work. I've actually gone over this. We're at the end of this job. I've still got to clean this board, but it had a slider put into it. That meant that the slider was pointed over to the left here. It was quite poorly done. So I removed that. I was having issues still with the relay, so I removed the relay, cleaned all of this area here, reinstalled, and cleaned the relay as well. Secondly, I wasn't really getting strong audio, so I replaced the HA1339 audio chip and redid all of this area here where all the pins were. Found that one of the through board pins was actually disconnected. It was on the other side of the board, bent up, touching the heatsink for the audio IC. Progressively went through. I got audio again in this area here where the 2DS 187 Sanyo amplifier transistor, I think it was just around here. There were dry joints here. Ended up replacing a 1969 transistor. Removed this RF shield. Found dry joints under here. Ended up finding a lot of dry joints in this radio, and I've still got to resolve some of the issues with the display. It's not all segmented. I've gone through, there was broken tracks here, and what I suspect is this radio's led a hard life in a truck or a car that's been on the road all the time, and one of the reasons I suspect that is that the main 2200 capacitor, you can see there it's missing the through hole connector. That was actually squared off and broken. It wasn't even touching the board. So I cleaned that up and ran the leg across here for a proper connection. There's been a lot of things wrong with the radio. I had to walk away from it several times. However, at around about 18 hours that I've put into the radio now, I've got a lot of positive news. And just as a summary, this is what somebody had done with the frequency alignment VR801. They'd gutted the insides. It's a 20 kilo ohm. There's obviously the HA1339, and there's a lot of caps. Okay. For those of you who say, oh, you don't need to replace caps, they don't fail, I continually have this argument or discussion with people. Well, on this radio and most SBEs in general, if you don't have TX and you've done a bit of repairs, the issue is in this area here, generally down this rail here. There's around about 10, 12 caps, and it's generally the 1UFs in and around here. So I've replaced all of those, and TX came alive and it sounds beautiful. So I'll flip it over. Alright, so all of the caps that I've replaced, which is everything electrolytic and a couple of tantalums, I've coated with blue ink on the top of every single one, as you can see going through here. There's a lot of caps. All right, so as mentioned before, I started to get TX back when I replaced this and this cap, and that was great. But also an issue with the SBEs, when the caps start wearing out or losing their value or shifting, you get really bad issues with TX audio, low audio output, and also your RX starts to suffer. Well, in and around here, after I replaced all these caps, the RX came up. The audio became very strong, and it had allowed me to tune the TX section a lot better. And there's that 1969 I replaced. Somebody had obviously been into this. It's a 40-year-old radio. That was all. I had to delicately remove the old the core adjuster in this inductor, and it was all broken. I couldn't flip it. I had to break it out. I've tuned the TX stage. I've put sealer on the obviously on the alignment points so they don't move. I've calibrated channel 1 and channel 40, and also adjusted the RX here on the Vco Alignment, and down here underneath the speech expander circuit, which has also had all the caps replaced as well. I didn't replace this tantalum. It was more for the service side. This was working quite well, but I just wanted to have the full service done on the radio, and that way there's no questions in my mind. What else? I had to replace the power cord. It was cut off here, so I just neatened it up, put a new one in, cleaned the relay inside, so I dismantled it and cleaned it, removed all the black soil marks on the fingers, and they generally happen not in the front but at the back of the feelers on the contacts. Got to be very careful there. And down here, that's the variable resistor that I replaced, the 20 kilo ohm, and removed the clarifier mod. All right, in the oscillation state, the oscillator, I've replaced one cap. There's only one electrolytic. It's a 1 UF. All right, let's flip her over and turn her on, and we'll check how it sounds. All right, we've got it turned on. We'll first do a audio check on the RX radio. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. That's AM. That's upper sideband. Testing 1 2, 1 2. Good, on frequency. Lower sideband. Testing 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2. Full swing. All testing 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2. Nice and healthy. All right, we're bang on 27,405. So channel 40. AM power out is 5 watts, but it does a full swing of about 20 on AM. Two-tone test. Just on 20 watts. This radio has a built-in scanner. This is channel 35, lower sideband. Can I get a radio check from someone? A radio check, please. All right, so this is we're hearing quite strong. The RX is very responsive on this now. It's increased by around about 18 to 20 decibel on where we started on this radio the other day. So it's definitely, it's well and truly come back to life. But it hasn't been without its troubles. These radios are highly collectible, and that's the driver for me. Now this is part one of part two. Still got to sort the display out. It may not happen, so I've got to go through, and it hasn't responded 100% to the dry joints and desoldering and resoldering. So I will start buttoning the radio up. This is, I put the painting tape on, one, because it doesn't damage the fascia, and two, I can write on it what's wrong and what I fixed and how it is. So the one other thing I got to do, and it will come out in alignment, is clarifier is at 130 at the moment. That will come back to vertical once I've done the RX alignment in the synthesizer. But I'm not. It's more. This is more about getting this radio to work and work properly. Now this has a quick jump to channel 9. It also has very good noise blanker, and then your CBPA. I did a readjustment on the squelch, because the squelch wouldn't come in until over here. So it comes in at about 9 o'clock. RF gain on these, on the way that it's set up now and how sensitive it is, I generally run it at around about 2 o'clock. And when we start getting up full size, it's actually acting like a preamp. And there we go. That's the last 2 days of work on the SBE SIDEBANDER 5. Thank you very much. Comment, like and subscribe.